Hi guys, this is Sarah Bintahad, and today I'm going to be talking about a topic that I am insanely passionate about, which is refugees, not only refugees and their language barrier, not only within the USA, but in specific Tampa Bay, Florida. This is important because often when we talk about refugees, we talk about seeking asylum, food, assistance, benefits, just things to get them by. But something that is often overlooked is the language barrier. There are many people who aren't just refugees who struggle with the English language to this day simply because they do not have the assistance and help. And it is honestly in favor of other people to keep them down and not allow them to properly learn and speak English, which is an extremely powerful tool to capitalize off of the resources that they have been given. I have personally went to an Islamic private school where I have been next to refugees or next to people who have known refugees, and even though my school has been faced with multiple circumstances of dealing with refugees who have struggled with language barrier, there has not been enough assistance to help them properly thrive and excel within the same education that we have. What happens is in the end they are getting a little bit of help with English and then not getting the same education as us. But there is a reason for being in this school, and it is to have excelled and progressed education, which they deserve and are very capable of as well. Something that we have to understand is refugees are not just immigrants, they are people with deep trauma, and trauma does affect your personal memory. When we put refugees in just a lower level of English speaking, not taking into account that they have deep trauma that works with their attention span and even remembering what has happened to them in the past in their own language and thoughts, then they can never fully progress in the way that they are supposed to, because we are not taking into account that they have neurological disadvantages because of what they have been through. So the first step that we should take into helping them is acknowledging that. On my website, I touch up on a Ukrainian story of like this family that was taken into the Tampa Bay area, and I bring this up because there are not just refugees from the Middle East, there are refugees from all over the world, and these are real situations of where children are coming and being somewhat separated from their families and not speaking the language and having to learn and start all over again. When you read up on personal experiences, it makes you realize that this is your next door person and your next door neighbor who could have gone through this, and not just a general idea of, yeah, there are refugees and they need help. No, these are real people at the end of the day. If you are touched by this and now you are thinking, what can I do to personally help in my own community, which is the Tampa Bay community, you can look into the Florida Health Department. And what they do is they have organizations and group chats that can help you organize help with English and just anything that they may need past the language barrier. The Florida Department's job is to look for these gaps that these people are missing, whether it is language, food, housing, and everything of that sort. So while you can help them with the language barrier and language instructions, you also can help them with everything else. Now, when wanting to help these people, you have to remember that you do as well have an ethical responsibility. It is extremely intimidating to enter a country not knowing the language whatsoever, having to honestly go there by force, not even because you want to. Your country is facing war and you are forced to seek asylum somewhere where you don't even know the language. It is extremely important that you treat these people with sympathy and empathy before you even go out to helping them, and as another human rather than this charity case, because they already feel like outsiders being in a country that they did not originally intend on going to. So you want to make sure that you fulfill your ethical responsibility of not adding on to that. Now, on my website, I only included one personal story, but for some real statistics on how many refugees are around us, not just in the Tampa Bay area, but in Florida, there are a lot. Florida is only second to Miami in the amount of refugees, which is 14,000, and the whole Florida entirely has 500,000 refugees just within the past 5 years. And if we just want to talk about this from an education standpoint, there are over 9,000 refugee students within the past 3 years.